Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting a brand new Linux basic series. If you're learning Linux for the first time or preparing for a certification like Linux Plus or LPIC, this series will give you everything you need in small bit-sized lessons. A lot of people when they think of Linux, they usually think of something complicated or flashy like your desktop full of icons and symbol and etc. But this is not the case. But the real power of Linux is here, which is in this little box we call the terminal, which is usually black and the letter is usually green, but you can customize this to make this flashy or however you want. That's the beauty with Linux. Linux is very customizable. You can pretty much customize anything you want in Linux because it's open source. But we're not gonna get into that. So once you get used to using the terminal and you know how everything works together, it's very simple and easy and very easy. So the terminal is pretty much this little box right here. You type whatever you want, and then the system give you an output of whatever that you type in there. So behind the terminal is something that we call the shell. Take off the shell as the middleman. So it takes your command, whatever we type in here, it takes it and then it sends it to the Linux system and show you the result. And most Linux systems use a shell called bash. That is the default shell that most Linux systems use, but which stands for born again shell. That's what the bash stands for. But there are others like Z shell. There's many more. There's plenty of shell that you can use, but the main one is bash. If you when you just know that bash is the default one that you will be using. Now let's take a look at the prompt. Let me make this bigger so you guys can, maybe that's too big. Okay, that's perfect. So this is the terminal. First we have, this is my username. My username is robot. I know this is a funny computer name, but the next thing that come after the hashtag is your computer name, which is, I know, mine is killer. I should change it, but it is what it is for now. And then we have the little symbol, which is our home directory. In Linux, everything is directory. That's what we refer to the folders. So the folders in Linux are called directory versus Windows, we use folder. But in Linux, everything is directory. And then the dollar sign let us know which user we are in. In Linux, we have two users. We have the root user, which give us access to everything, and then we have basic user that have minimal access to certain things. So I'm using VMware to do this series, which I'm gonna be using 3 different version of Linux, I think. Yes, this is I'm using Ubuntu, but I also have a Debian flavor, also Debian Linux. Let me quickly log in so I can show you guys that it doesn't matter which Linux flavor you're using, they all pretty much the same thing. Oh, I should have logged in beforehand. So this is Debian. Hopefully this can, okay, so there you go. So it's pretty much the same thing. So if you click on the terminal, and let me make this bigger. So again, this is what we call the terminal. This will be my 30C, which will be my username, and Mr. Robot, called the computer name, the home directory, and the dollar sign. I wanted to use Red Hat, but instead I boot up CentOS OS, which is like a photocopy version of CentOS, but it should be also the same thing. Let me quickly log in. Hopefully that's the password. I should have logged in way beforehand, but I didn't do that. So if we do the same thing here, if we check out the terminal in here, they all pretty much look the same and does the same thing. Let me make this bigger. So same thing, Ted Charles, username, Mr. The computer name, home directory, and then regular user. I'm a regular user in this computer. So let me go back to um, Ubuntu. So let's use Ubuntu. So let me show you guys a couple of the most common command that we use in Linux. I mean, if you're gonna be using Linux, those are the most common command that you're probably gonna be seeing every day. So the first one we use is PWD, which is then for print working directory, which tell us where we actually are, because right now we don't know in what directory we are. So if we type PWD, it give us /home/robot. So that let me know I'm in my home directory. So that would be the same thing as if I were to go, let's see, places. Oops, not places. Where's the folder here? Do I have any folder I can quickly type? I don't have, oh, there it is. So if I go here, so I'm in my home directory, so that will be here. I'm home, in my home directory. In Windows, that's what we do. We click and everything. So this will be the same type thing, but everything, you do everything on the terminal. So that is one of the common command that we see often in Linux, because sometimes we be deep into the system that we might not remember where we are. So if you type pwd, it will let us know that we are in home directory. And the next popular one is ls, which stands for list. If it lists the things that are inside of the directory. So for right now, inside of my home directory, which is home robot, I have desktop documents, pretty much the same thing we have on Windows, but it's a little bit complicated. So it lists out the content inside of that folder or directory. So that's what the ls is used for. Each of them have flag you can use, but we're not gonna get into flags right now. We're just showing you like the basic command that you probably will see most often with people who use Linux on a daily basis. And the next one is clear. We use clear to clear the screen, because sometimes you'll be typing command left and right, and then the screen is full of commands. So we need to start from scratch. So if you type clear, it clears the screen, and now you have a blank slate to go again. And then another popular one is whoami, which let us know who's currently logging into the system, which is should be Wobot, which is me. Wobot is who is currently logging into the system. So these are very popular command that we use, but there are more. Let me clear the screen again. So let me just clear. So let me type wd. Let us know here. Let's list the directory. Let me go into inside of let's go into the document folder or directory. So we type cd and then the name of the directory that we want to go into. So if I press D and the tab, it because there are multiple. So the thing with tab is if we have multiple things that start with the same letter, it's gonna print all of them. So right now we have three directory who start with the D. So that's why it didn't go into the document folder right away. It's the same thing. If I press CD, D, and O, and I press tab, now you don't see desktop. So now if I press C, it will autocomplete the command for me, and then I can press enter. Now I'm inside of the document. For it let us know home/document. So, and then if I press print WD, it's gonna show us where we are right now, which is home/home/robot, my username, and then inside of my username we have a document folder, so that's where we are. So a simple way another popular command we can use is the touch command, which allows to create files. So if I touch test1, now it doesn't show you anything is created, but if I type ls like before, now we should see a test1 file inside of the directory. So if I go here, it's the same thing. If I go place in documents, um, let me quickly go to the documents home. So there you go. So so you see it's the same thing. In Windows, we probably would have to click inside of the folder and press whichever one that we want to do. So as you can see in the terminal, if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much get things done super fast. So with ls, there's a popular flag that we use with ls. When we use ls by itself, everything is, it doesn't give us much detail, but if we type ls-l, it's gonna list, it's give us more information. So it let us know there's one file inside of the directory. So this is the permission that I have for this file, and this is the username. So it let us know the user, the owner, and the group, and then the date. And then, I mean, we'll get to permission eventually, but this let us know the the dash let us know this is a file. So if I go back, now I'm back into my home directory, and then I do ls-l. Now it lists everything. As you can see, for folders, we have a D, but there's no file here, so you don't see that. And this is permission. This is how we permission or listed in Linux, but we're not gonna get into that because this is just a basic intro to Linux. And then let's clear the screen, and then everything is gone. Last thing is Linux. There is a history command that you can type history. It let you know all the command that you run. So as you can see, I mean, I've been using this. As you can see, there's a lot of command that I've run in the system. So we can type history to see previous command that was typed. Or if you don't wanna type history, let me clear this. We can press the up arrow in our keyboard. It will just list all of them, which is slower. It will just list all the previously command, but when you type history, it just gives you the list. Last thing I will show is that with the history command, if I type history and then the number you see next to it, though, let's say I wanted to choose a command, all I have to do is, let's do 110. All I have to do is press the um, shift exclamation point, and then let's do any one of these. Let's do ls 80. Let's use 80. And when you press 80, it will run whatever command is the 80th command that was run. It will run it for us automatically. So that's something else. And then you see it lists the command. So this is just the basic. Everything that was done in Ubuntu, which is one of the flavor I'm using, can be done also in Debian, which is also another flavor of Linux. So I'm just gonna keep it short. You see print WD, let us know you're home. We can press ls, same thing, list everything inside of there. We can press well, what is the the touch command. Also we can do cd, which is current directory, which is change directory actually, because we're changing directory into something else, documents. And then ls again, it's empty, but if I do touch file 1 and then I do ls again, as you can see, there's a file in there, just like I did before. And then we can remove things also, just like we do with Windows, right click, delete, and whatnot. We can do the same thing. And the same thing with CentOS OS. With the CentOS OS is the same thing we do. You can do WD, ls, cd, documents, and touch file 1. Now we have a file in there. So as you can see, once you know the command and you learn them, Linux is very easy to use. You can do whoami, the same thing. Ted Charles, that's my name. That's the username. That's who's currently logged in, And then we can do clear. There's also a history. The same thing also. It's the same thing here also. When you do history, that most of the command that was used in here. So there you go. In the next video, we'll probably go into how to navigate the directory a little bit more deeper, since I give you guys a basic lesson on that. So in the next one, we'll probably go a little bit deeper into moving into folders, exploring file system structure. Like you don't wanna miss that one. And make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for more bit-sized Linux lesson. Thank you guys for watching. Until